Nigerian election officials have started announcing preliminary presidential poll results from Saturday's vote, a ballot that was marred by violence. In Senegal, vote counting is underway following a peaceful presidential election day on Sunday, and a night of fashion surprises on the Oscars red carpet. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. Tonight, we begin with early partial results from the Nigerian presidential election that show incumbent Muhammadu Buhari winning two southwestern states. Results released Monday by the Independent National Electoral Commission show the president winning the state of Ekiti with about 57% of the vote. Buhari also won a tight race in the state of Osun, defeating his chief challenger, Atiku Abubakar, by some 10,000 votes. However, Abubakar won in the capital, Abuja. More results are expected in the coming hours. Saturday's election was not free of violence, as civil society groups say at least 39 people were killed. INEC says it will reschedule elections in some parts of Lagos, Rivers and Anambra states where voting was disrupted on Saturday. There remains some uncertainty which districts were affected by the violence.
So, and what we're praying for is we don't want a foul length. So among the two political parties, my own opinion is when they win, anybody that win among them, we should congratulate each other. So we don't want violence in this country.
Well, political tensions were high last week as Nigerians prepared to elect a new president and parliament. During the campaign, President Buhari's All Progressives Congress and the main opposition People's Democratic Party, led by Abubakar, accused each other of attempting to fix the outcome. Well, despite dozens of people being killed in election-related violence, the head of the African Union Observer Mission, Haile Mariam Desalegn, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, says the poll was conducted in a generally peaceful environment. For more Nigerian election information, let's go live to viewer Awa Umar, who is standing by in Abuja. Awa, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, now, of course, it has been said that the election went generally well, according to African Union observers, but we hear that elections were also cancelled in other places. So what are the reactions from citizens, especially given that others were not able even to vote and there was violence?
Yes, we had free elections, but in some areas like Lagos, Anambra, and Rivers, I think, there is violence. And then in Plateau, in two polling units in Plateau State, there is a misunderstanding between stakeholders. So the one in Plateau, they were able to cast their ballot yesterday, Sunday. And then in a press briefing yesterday with the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said the day for the Anambra State and Lagos will be announced. The day they will cast their ballot will be announced. So I think that was a very fantastic judgment.
Yeah. Now, we have heard, this announcement that Buhari is leading in some parts of the country, but given how big Nigeria is up to this point, is it really very clear from INEC that Buhari is leading, or this is just speculation based on regional results?
Well, so far, it's only the results of 4 states was announced, that of Kogi, Osun, FCT, and Kwara. So we can't really say because, like I said before this election, we kind of have a vote divide because both candidates are from the northern part of the country, which share the same belief and the same culture. So we can't really say.
Now, we have seen violence in the areas in the south, including Lagos, but how was the situation in the northeast where people were concerned that perhaps there could be even more serious violence?
Well, there is no report of violence in the northeastern part of the country. I think the election was free, fair, and violence-free in the eastern part of the country.
Okay, and just finally, if you can update us according to what you know, at what time do we expect the INEC to announce what ideally should be like the final results, or at least a provisional result?
I think we should expect that maybe tomorrow morning, because the results announcement is still ongoing, while some states, other states did not even bring their results. So it's still ongoing. We can't say, maybe it might reach tomorrow morning, I think.
And very quickly, how do they determine who wins? Is it a simple majority, 50+1?
What?
How is the person who wins determined? What is it they use to decide who has won? Okay. All right, I think we'll determine that perhaps by tomorrow. We talk about it. Hawa, excellent reporting. Thank you very much for being there for us today. And that is Hawa Umar reporting live from Abuja. Now, the week-long delays in the presidential election likely damaged some of the public's confidence in the voting process, possibly reducing Saturday's poll turnout. One Nigerian election observer shared his thoughts about the vote and particularly the violence.
It's very unfortunate. We have begun to raise this alarm since Friday, when in Bayelsa State, our observers, from the point of distribution of electoral materials, our observers noticed that some politicians have hijacked some electoral materials, and between that Friday night and yesterday morning, in a particular place called Basambri in Bayelsa State, in a particular local government called Ekremo in Bayelsa State, there were cases of assault on innocent citizens, on electoral officials and electoral materials by politicians who were aided by the security agents in uniform. We found a situation whereby even some security agents who were not on official assignment, many of whom were just security agents attached to monitor pipelines in the creeks of the Niger Delta, were hijacked by politicians, and they were used against the people.
Well, for more insight on the Nigerian presidential election, let's go live to viewer Peter Clote, who's joining us now from Lagos and has been in the country for now several weeks covering this election. Peter, they had at least an extra week to plan this election again. What went wrong, especially in Lagos and the surrounding areas?
Well, Vincent, good evening. It is quite interesting here. There seemed to be an ethnic dimension to what is going on. The confusion started when area boys or known thugs went around saying that Igbos are not supposed to be allowed to vote. They said Lagos is for Lagosians, and that Lagos is for Yoruba people, and that those who are Igbos seem to be for main opposition leader Atiku Abubakar, and that is why the confusion was there. There were a lot of outrage when they went round burning ballot papers, breaking ballot boxes, and chasing away voters whom they suspect or believe were supporters of main opposition leader Atiku Abubakar. However, the police or security agencies moved in quickly and tried to arrest the situation. That was the confusion that was left here in Lagos.
We just ran a sound bite from a person who interviewed election observer, a local one. It actually does seem to place the blame squarely on the security forces.
Yes, it is true. He accused the security agencies of sometimes colluding with members of the ruling All Progressive Congress. However, officials of the All Progressive Congress that I spoke with sharply denied the accusation. They said it was without merit, and that all this was meant to tarnish the hard-earned reputation of incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, and that his victory will be untarnished by the accusations.
Well, generally, people get, of course, very uncomfortable when an election is cancelled in their area. To what extent can that have an impact on the overall result eventually?
Well, officials that I've spoken here with said some of the disturbances are too infinitesimal. That is to say, too small for it to affect the outcome of the election. Approximately 80 million voters who went and chose whom they believe will best lead this country. So if they said if there are a few skirmishes here and there, generally it wouldn't affect the outcome of the result. That is what is going on. However, opposition leaders that I spoke with are saying that the aim of the disturbances was to undermine or prevent them from defeating incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, who appears to be gaining ground in a lot of places. Here in Lagos, he is leading with 130,000 votes. And you know, in Nigeria, Lagos and Kano are the main state, Kano being the most populous, followed by Lagos. So they say if you win Lagos and you perform creditably well in Kano, then it is almost certain that you be re-elected. And that is what is happening in the camp of incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari at the moment.
Right, we'll be watching closely. Peter, thank you very much for your reporting, and stay safe. Stay safe, my buddy. And that's...
Thank you. I will try to be.
Okay, viewers, Peter Clotilde reporting live from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria. Now, to Africa's other big weekend election, ballot counting is underway in Senegal after a peaceful day of voting in Sunday's presidential election. After 3 weeks of campaigning, long lines of voters formed early Sunday to cast their vote for incumbent Macky Sall or one of his 4 challengers, Idrissa Seck, Ousmane Sonko, Madické Niang, or Issa Sall. His viewer is Salwa Jafari.
It's a big day for Ben. It's the first time that this philosophy student will be able to fulfill her duty as a citizen. And Ben chose incumbent President Macky Sall, and here's what she expects from him.
What we all have in common is Senegal, and we want a candidate who will work for Senegal. I did not accept money, the 2,000 or 5,000 francs that were given to vote for anyone. I voted for the candidate who will lead Senegal forward.
We leave the district of Pekin to find an equally peaceful atmosphere in the district of Soprim in the arrondissement Parcelles. Lines are a bit longer, but voters appear just as calm. They don't hesitate to share the reasons behind their choice.
I voted for Sonko because he represents hope for Senegal. He brought something new to Senegalese politics, and it shows in his journey, his demeanor, and his speech.
I voted for incumbent President Macky Sall. He is the president of hope. He did a lot for his country. He has great plans and results. Over a period of 7 years, he had more results than Abdoulaye Wade in his 12 years and the socialist regime in 40 years.
Each voter spends about 5 minutes at the polling station. Once their identities are confirmed, they receive ballots corresponding to 5 candidates and make their choice behind this curtain.
The voting process happened in peace and tranquility. Nowhere we observed violence in the crowds, no sign of pushing or crashing. On the contrary, we only saw a peaceful queue of electors.
I've been here since this morning, and all I saw was peaceful voting. I also visited some office and met with the voting officers who told me all is going well.
Well, for more now on the Senegalese election, let's go live. You Skype to viewer Salwa Jafari. She's in Dakar. Hey, Salwa, good evening. Yes, a little bit problematic audio there. You got a little issue there. I didn't hear you clearly, but let's start by talking about this announcement by the the Prime Minister that Macky Sall, the incumbent, has already won the election. The electoral body is supposed to announce this. So what has been the reaction there?
Well, it seems like there's the angry side and the happy side, of course. The happy side, last night, as you mentioned, the Prime Minister announced that the incumbent President Macky Sall have won more than 57% of the votes. And that, of course, triggered an outburst of happiness among his supporters and anger among the supporters of opposition members, and understandably so, primarily because he was announcing results while the ballots are still being counted. No, there is no official declaration yet from the Electoral Commission. Then there is this unprecedented press conference by Ousmane Sonko, the other candidates, Ousmane Sonko and Idrissa Seck, that made a press conference together, which is very unusual, to denounce the Prime Minister's announcement and to say that basically Macky Sall is trying to steal the vote of the people. I just received news that the commission in charge of counting the ballots have rejected the Prime Minister's number and is calling the candidates and the population to refrain, and the media, of course, to refrain from giving any results that haven't been confirmed. So there is no official numbers yet. I have to insist on that. What we have is provisional results only, results given by mainly by local media, especially the national television, which I've been watching since last night. So they've been giving result after result, the polling station after polling station, and I have to say that there is a trend. Macky Sall has won a lot of votes from Senegalese people, followed by Ousmane Sonko and Idrissa Seck. What I can say for sure is that the two other candidates, Madické Niang and Issa Sall, are way behind. As for the vote yesterday, I don't know if you want to talk about that and go back and talk about the last night's vote.
Ask you, how did the process go? We've just reported about Nigeria. Just quickly, if you can update us on how things went in Senegal overall.
Well, we followed the election throughout the day. We went to a lot of voting stations, and what we've noticed is everything was going very smoothly. People were very calm. They go in 5 minutes, go out, and this has been confirmed by the commission, the Electoral Commission, and by many observers. So everything went as planned. Vote started at 8 a.m. and finished at 8 p.m. We couldn't notice anything. I mean, there were a few reports of minor incidents, like people forgetting their cards or going to the wrong office, or offices running out of red ink, but nothing major. You know what, Salwa, I wish we had more time. Thank you very much for now. We'll talk to you again. You. All right. That's viewer Salwa Jaffery reporting live via Skype from Dakar in Senegal. Now, to East Africa, the Al-Shabaab terrorist group is claiming responsibility for the assassination of Somalia's Deputy Attorney General last Wednesday in Mogadishu. The attack took place in Hordan district as Mohammed Abdelrahman Mursal departed for work. Witnesses told VOA that two men on a motorbike blocked his way, ordered him to exit the car, and shot him. The gunman escaped the scene and took his car. Police later found the car abandoned. Now, Sudanese security forces used tear gas to disperse protesters Sunday as opponents of President Omar al-Bashir defied the state of emergency he declared on Friday and took to the streets again in cities across the country. Opposition groups say Bashir's decision was an attempt to silence popular demands, that he stepped down, and called for protesters to continue. Anti-government demonstrations began on December the 19th, triggered by price increases and cash shortages, but quickly developed into protests against Bashir's rule. Witnesses say security forces fired tear gas at hundreds of protesters in Khartoum and across the River Nile in Omdurman. President Bashir sworn in officials he appointed to replace those he sacked when he dissolved the central and state governments on Friday. Now, the powerful condemnation of child sex abuse by priests from Pope Francis is failing to impress some of its victims. The pontiff closed a Vatican conference on child sex abuse Sunday by comparing pedophilia to human sacrifice and calling guilty priests tools of Satan, as he vowed an all-out battle against sex abuse. But survivors say the pontiff's speech was a stunning letdown after some were allowed to tell their stories of horror, abuse, and violence. They say they did not get what they wanted to hear from him, which were firm and specific plans on dealing with the crime.
The head of an Italian victims group, Francesco Senardi, wants church leaders who protected guilty priests to face criminal charges. Vatican officials say Francis will issue a legal church document on protecting minors and wants local parishes to create task forces to deal with that issue. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump is departing for Vietnam on Monday. The Southeast Asian nation that is hosting the second Trump-Kim summit was once divided between North and South. Now it's united. It was once at war with the U.S., but now it's a friend. And it is a socialist country that has made economic reforms. All of that makes Vietnam an intriguing economic and political model for North Korea. But it's not clear if North Korean leader Kim Jong-un sees it that way, as viewers Bill Gallo reports from Hanoi.
Welcome to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, a single-party communist state that these days looks pretty capitalistic.
From Western fast food restaurants to fancy luxury cars, there are signs of capitalism almost everywhere in this communist-ruled country, which provides an interesting backdrop for a summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un.
This is not the same Vietnam that the U.S. fought in the 1960s and 1970s. Though there are still signs of communist control, they're virtually drowned out by a younger generation that's creating a new national identity. Vietnam opened up its economy starting in the 1980s. Now, it's one of the world's fastest growing.
From the President Trump's perspective, Vietnam represents a communist country that has gone partially capitalist, so he'll want Kim Jong-un to see the benefits of having done that.
But it's not clear whether Kim would be convinced. For 3 generations, the Kim family has stayed in power, in large part because it has not implemented those kind of reforms. Another problem, international sanctions.
Those sanctions will be a real break on any development North Korea can achieve until they've denuclearized enough for the United States and the UN Security Council to lift sanctions.
Hello, everybody. Still, in his meeting with Kim, Trump is likely to point to Vietnam as a model, just as he did in Singapore with this promotional video, seen here on the White House Facebook page.
2 men, 2 leaders.
But as Trump and Kim gather in Vietnam, the big question remains, is that what Kim actually wants? Bill Gallo, VOA News, Hanoi.
The Green Book, the heartwarming drama about the friendship between an eclectic African-American musician and his quirky white driver during the segregation era, won 3 Academy Awards Sunday night, including Best Picture. That most coveted award fit right into the night of diversity at the Oscars. VOA's Penelope Pulu has more.
And he directed it so well that it almost looks easy. Almost looks effortless. But I've read thousands of scripts, and I've written 3, and I know how difficult it is to find the right balance between, in the case of Green Book, dramatic tension, humor, but that's organic, that comes from a situation, from contrast between characters, great dialogue that sparked
of this year's awards, which were all about diversity. Alfonso Cuarón's Roma also won 3 Oscars for Best Cinematography, Best Foreign Language Film, and Best Director. The story, told from the perspective of an indigenous Mexican housemaid, pays tribute to female domestic workers worldwide. In his acceptance speech, Cuarón thanked his 2 female stars, Marina de Tavira and Yalitza Aparicio, for being the heart of Roma. Roma might not have risen to such prominence had it not been produced by Netflix and streamed into millions of households all over the world. Online viewing platforms are exposing diverse films to the world, says George Mason University media expert Richard Craig.
The objective is hopefully that it opens up doors and opportunities for those voices that typically do not have the ability to compete and have their storylines and their content valued at the highest level.
Olivia Colman won the Oscar for Best Actress for her role as Queen Anne in the European film The Favourite by Yorgos Lanthimos. The movie is a political period drama told from the perspective of 3 women. Ryan Coogler's Black Panther was another 3 Oscar winner, garnering 1 for Best Achievement in Music and 2 in the costume field. Hannah Beachler and Ruthie Carter are the first African Americans to receive Oscars for costume production and design, respectively. Ruth Carter told VOA that her costumes were inspired by African indigenous tribes and empowered the women in the story.
They have weaponry, they wear armor, but then we did it in a beautiful way. So the color is enhanced. The armor looks like jewelry. Their harness, as I call it, wraps the body in a certain way. They pay homage to their history. That's what I feel makes the wearer feel so empowered, because they're wearing their story.
Regina King won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Sharon Rivers in Barry Jenkins's African-American drama If Beale Street Could Talk. Spike Lee's Black Klansman, an unflinching look at race relations in America, won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. Rami Malek won the Oscar for Best Actor for his role as Queen lead singer Freddie Mercury, as he's grappling with his sexuality and his immigrant background in Bohemian Rhapsody. Finally, the Oscar-winning animated feature, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, is the first Black Spider-Man film to win an Oscar. Penelope Poulou, VOA News, Washington.
Well, and that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com for more news. Tune in to VOA's evening radio show Africa News tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching from all of us in Washington. Have a good night.
You